I would say at the business level that probably like a de minimis tax exemption for digital assets probably would not be the game changer to attract a company from California.
Let me throw a question at you, and I don't know if the audience is as interested in this as I am, but they probably are. So, if there was a company or an individual in California that wanted to do business in Texas, but they had some assets that were the transaction of which would incur normally a capital gains obligation, tax obligation to them, and they decided to do business in Texas, and say Texas had passed a de minimis exemption, or there was perhaps like a company relocation to Texas, since we don't have like state level capital gains tax, where I think California does have state level capital gains tax, are there any advantages to us passing something that like that here, even though we don't have that state level capital gains tax? I guess what I'm getting at is, could we attract more businesses from California by changing our tax treatment, even though it really wouldn't affect companies domiciled here, but it might attract other companies that are currently under a different tax regime, like in California, say?
It's a great thought. I would say at the business level that probably like a de minimis tax exemption for digital assets probably would not be the game changer to attract a company from California to
It'd have to be a
Texas.
payments company that has a lot of
Yeah,
small transactions.
right. Like this is not something that they particularly care about. But it's more specific to capital gains. Yes, many states do have capital gains rules on how the gains are sourced to which state. Texas in particular, it's possible to source capital gains outside the state, depending on where the transaction occurs or where performance is occurring. And there's a lot of very specific state taxation rules. But I like where your thought is going into how can we attract more companies to come here. Ultimately, that depends more on the local economies, what kind of tax breaks that your cities and jurisdictions are going to provide. Are employees going to be more happy? So yeah, a de minimis tax is not going to be the game changer for attracting someone. But the heart of the question is, why would we need a de minimis tax, right? And that's really, looking at the function of money. You want money that's, of course, a store of value that's used as a unit of account and a medium of exchange. It also needs to be adopted or demanded and accessible and have all these different kinds of traits. How can you take a digital asset, I'm going to use Bitcoin, the best money, and how do you take Bitcoin and move it from being a store of value into having these other use cases actually being utilized? So a medium of exchange and a unit of account. Well, you have to be able to make it interactable and transactable. It definitely is right now, but of course it's not the fastest in settlement. Although settlement finalizes within 10 minutes typically, but still you want something that's instant. So as Lightning continues to proliferate, we're going to have that scalability solution. Well, now people are going to want to actually transact back and forth. Not only that, but across borders too. So does it make sense then for, technology has evolved, continues to evolve into where, okay, people can use this, but now you're going to have this burden of tax. Like you've got to calculate your gains and losses every time you use it. And if you're using Lightning, it's not going to typically be for transactions over a few $100s. Yeah, de minimis exemption certainly makes sense in that case. If you go buy your pizza or cup of coffee or whatever, and yeah, it's called de minimis, and you don't have to extrapolate all the detail of the time of payment, the value at the time of payment, and the quantity sold. That just makes it a lot easier from an administration perspective.
Hey y'all, Lee Bratcher here with the Texas Blockchain Council. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. If you like this content, check out the Texas Blockchain Council YouTube channel, as well as following us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.